A Georgia prosecutor has now officially tossed out the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others over their efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Let's jump straight to CNN's Kara Scannell. Kara, what are you hearing? Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this brand new filing just came in from the prosecutor who stepped in to review the Fulton County investigation into Donald Trump and his co-defendants. He submitted a motion to the court saying they will not be moving forward. They're dropping the charges. What he filed is called a null prosecution, basically meaning that as long as the statute of limitations hasn't expired, the case could theoretically be brought back. Now let me ask you something. How many times does someone have to be caught on audio, literally recorded saying incriminating stuff, before anything actually happens? Seriously, think about that for a second. Because what I'm about to walk you through is going to make your head spin. And I'm not exaggerating. This is one of those stories that sounds too insane to be real, except every bit of it is real. Every detail is documented, on the record. Yet somehow, we're in a moment where none of it seems to matter. The evidence exists. The tapes are real. Everyone knows what's on them. And nothing happened. Zero. So buckle up, because this is a full ride from start to finish. But before we keep going, let's be honest, mainstream media isn't exactly reliable anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to give you context, clarity, and stories without the corporate spin. If you actually want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. News straight to your inbox daily. Hit the link in the description. And if you want to support what we do, join us, help build a community that still cares about the truth. Alright, back to the video. Secretly recorded phone calls are in the spotlight again today. Donald Trump is back in court this morning for his hush money trial. Yesterday the jury heard several phone calls recorded by Michael Cohen, calls Cohen secretly taped. In one of them, Trump tells Cohen to quote, pay with cash, referring to a hush money deal with former Playboy model Karen McDougal. Also on those recordings, you hear attorney Keith Davidson, the same lawyer who represented Stormy Daniels in 2016, who's been testifying for days now. Yesterday, Trump's lawyers tried to portray Davidson as an extortionist who built a career by targeting famous people. At one point they asked if he regularly goes right up to the line without committing extortion. You're going to hear more of that back and forth. We're talking about President Trump here. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, here we go again. But no, this time is different, because right now, November 2025, every criminal case against Donald Trump has been dismissed. Every single one. The Georgia case? Gone. The federal cases? Gone. The man is walking around completely free. And yet there are multiple recordings of him out there, audio recordings that prosecutors themselves once called devastating, smoking gun evidence. The kind of stuff that's supposed to end political careers, and legal defenses, and freedom. We're not talking rumors. Not anonymous leaks. Not speculation. Actual audio tapes where you hear his voice saying things legal experts flat out called criminal. And somehow, it all just vanished like none of it ever existed. Seriously, how is that even possible? How does someone get recorded crystal clear saying things that prosecutors said were slam dunks, and nothing happens? The cases disappear. The evidence gathers dust. This is wild. I've covered politics for a long time and I've never seen anything remotely like this. Prosecutors spent years building these cases. Grand juries issued indictments. Legal analysts went on TV every night saying, this is it. This is the moment. And then, poof. Gone. Like a magic trick. Except nobody's laughing, and nobody knows how the trick was pulled off. So here's what we're doing today. We're breaking down every one of these tapes. What's actually on them, the exact wording, the context, everything. And then we're going to ask the question everyone should be asking themselves. If these recordings didn't stop him, then what possibly could? What would a tape even have to contain now for it to matter? Because obviously the rules have changed, and nobody sent out the memo. Let me set the scene. November 26, 2025, just a few days ago, the Georgia prosecutor officially moved to dismiss the election interference case against Trump and his allies. This was the RICO case. The one legal experts called his biggest criminal threat. The case with the strongest evidence. The one that was supposed to be different. The one that was finally going to hold him accountable. Constitutional law professors wrote entire essays about how airtight it was. Former prosecutors said it was bulletproof. Georgia was the case to watch. Georgia had the goods. And what sparked that entire Georgia investigation? A tape. The recorded call from January 2021 where Trump told Georgia's Secretary of State to find enough votes to overturn Biden's win. His exact words, find 11,780 votes. That recording was played on every news network. You can still listen to it right now. Called the most damning audio ever captured from an American president. And now, case dismissed. And the man whose voice is on that recording is sitting in the White House again. Let that sink in. And that's just one tape. There are multiple recordings tied to different cases, different prosecutors, different courts. Every single one ended the same way, dismissed, dropped, dead. 3 separate recordings described as smoking guns. 3 prosecutors who thought they had ironclad cases. And all 3 ended with the cases evaporating while the evidence sits there doing nothing. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what's on these recordings, why they were considered devastating, and why none of it mattered. And then you can decide what that means for accountability in America. Alright, let's get into it. Most people don't actually know the details of these recordings. They've heard little clips, headlines, sound bites, but not the full picture. So I'm going to break it down tape by tape. First, the Georgia call, January 2, 2021, less than a week before January 6, Trump calls Brad Raffensperger. The call lasts over an hour. An hour of pressure, persuasion, threats, everything. Raffensperger records the whole thing. The audio leaks. It becomes front-page news. On the call, Trump says he needs exactly 11,780 votes, the precise margin Biden won Georgia by, +1. He also tells Raffensperger, there's nothing wrong with saying you've recalculated, literally feeding him the language to justify fake results. Everyone heard this. Everyone reacted. Legal experts said it was enough for a conviction on its own. Fani Willis launched the RICO case specifically because of this tape. She built years of work around it. And now, it's all gone. Charges dismissed. Next, the hush money tape from 2016. Secret recording by Michael Cohen. Trump saying, pay with cash, as they discuss how to funnel money to silence Karen McDougal days before the election. Prosecutors called it clear evidence of illegal campaign activity. A jury even convicted him on 34 felony counts. But he won the 2024 election. And the DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president. So the conviction basically has no effect. It's frozen in time. Then, the classified documents recording from Bedminster. Trump on tape admitting he couldn't declassify a sensitive military plan anymore, while showing it to people without security clearance. The tape completely destroyed his public defense. Prosecutors said it was fatal to his case. And yet that case, too, was dropped the moment he took office again. 3 tapes. 3 supposedly airtight cases. All dead. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Because online chatter is buzzing about a so-called new, lethal tape. But let me be clear, there is no proven new recording from the past 48 hours. This is just social media rumor. But honestly, even if a new tape did exist, would it matter? The last 3 didn't. The question now is what a tape would even have to contain for consequences to exist. And when you break it all down, a few things become clear. Point 1. The DOJ policy against prosecuting a sitting president is basically a literal get-out-of-jail-free card. It's not a law. Not constitutional text. Just a memo. One memo that now shields a president from federal charges entirely. Point 2. This changes accountability forever. Evidence doesn't matter the way we thought it did. Power matters. Winning matters. Point 3. The idea of a smoking gun might actually be dead. What more do you need than a tape of someone asking to find the precise number of votes needed? What more than audio proving a defense is a lie? Yet none of it stuck. Point 4. The political divide on these tapes is massive. Supporters see them one way, critics another. And in the end, supporters were right about the outcome, the tapes didn't matter. Now, what happens next? Trump is in his 2nd term. He can't run again. Eventually he'll be a private citizen. In theory, these cases could be revived. But will any prosecutor want to walk that road again? After what happened to Fani Willis, Jack Smith, and everyone else? Hard to say. But one thing is clear, the system we thought existed, where recordings matter, where evidence leads to consequences, looks very different now. Maybe it was always this way. Or maybe something fundamentally changed. Either way, this is new territory. No blueprint. The tapes are real. The cases are gone. And we're left asking what any of it meant. Alright, that's it for this one. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. Can any recording actually hold a powerful political figure accountable anymore? Or is the smoking gun officially dead? Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell, because next time we're digging into what the Trump administration is planning now that every legal cloud that hung over him for years has cleared. What does an unrestrained 2nd term actually look like? Trust me. You don't want to miss what's coming.